Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get airborne for our normal, regularly scheduled accelerated retirement live trade brief. I want to welcome folks that are new to Top Gun Options. I know we opened the doors to the public for this special session today. So welcome aboard to all of you who have never heard of Top Gun Options and have no idea what you're doing here. Hopefully that's not the case. Well, in about an hour to an hour and a half, you're really going to know why you were invited, why you're here, and why you should be a member here at Top Gun Options. A lot of great stuff going on, but you wouldn't know it thinking or taking a look at the news. But we're going to get into all that in a couple minutes. Let me take 5 to 7 minutes to welcome aboard the new folks who are joining us for this webinar. So, folks, this is going to be a normal live trade brief after I introduce myself to the new folks. So if you are new, we're just opening up the doors to our squadron today to give you guys a little peek into what we do here at Top Gun Options. And like I said, this is our accelerated retirement live trade brief. We had a live trade brief on Monday and Tuesday, and actually we closed a nice one-day bear call spread on Tesla, which was phenomenal. $1,500 profit in a day, 70%. And actually, I think Tesla's up a little bit today, which is why we got out of it yesterday. So really good call on Tesla. But you're joining us for our regularly scheduled brief, okay? So, folks, my name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz. So you guys going forward can refer to me as that. It's actually a compliment. It's not. It has nothing to do with intelligence, and I'll leave it at that. Some of my members at our live events have gotten the Wiz story, and it's a 10-drink minimum. So I flew the F-18 Hornet for the United States Navy. I graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School, which many of you know as Top Gun. And I was also a bad guy at Top Gun, which is awesome. Very, very cool job. Got to do some really great stuff in the Navy. Flew in a I don't know if they're bad guys. Let's say neutral guy in Pakistan. Got to fly in one of their jets. Got to fly with the Blue Angels with my buddy Scott Cartvet Intake. He was one of the opposing solos. And then also flew 44 combat missions over Iraq. If you've never, to give you a sense of, you hear about the Persian Gulf and this and that and the other thing. So I'm heading south right now. That's Iraq. This is Kuwait. And there's Iran. This literally is a lake, folks, just to give you some perspective. So I'm leaving a combat mission out of Iraq, heading out to the aircraft carrier out here in the lake, essentially. So really cool. Got to do some cool stuff. But I taught myself how to trade equity options back when I was a young junior officer flying the Hornet. And I applied everything that I learned flying the Hornet to my options trading, having a strategy, implementing tactics, managing risk, and contingency planning, right? Before we ever got airborne, we said, hey, what could go wrong on this mission that we should think about right now instead of freaking the hell out when it happens? All of these things applied very, very well to my trading and just kind of blew the doors off of my performance. Eventually, I popped up on the radar of one of the largest equity options trading firms in the world. This building probably looks familiar to a lot of you folks. This is the intersection of Jackson and LaSalle in beautiful Chicago. That's the Chicago Board of Trade, and that was my firm right there. Those big, beautiful windows, beautiful trading floor called Peak 6 Investments. Had an absolute blast when I was there. It was fun. I helped build a hedge fund when I was there. I helped build the retail brokerage firm Options House. And yes, I did feel like Valentine in trading places, right? Little old retail trader, makes good, makes the big time. So, and when I was there, I was the managing director of strategy. We were an equity options volatility arbitrage firm, and I was the founder and CEO of the Options News Network. If you watch CNBC, we were essentially the CNBC for options. I know John and Pete Najarian very well from my time in Chicago. They do a great job on CNBC trying to pay lip service to the options world, but we did. I built this, and it was a great 3-year run until when I left, they kind of turned it into a feeding ground for just to open accounts into Options House. But when we were airborne, man, it was a blast. Decided that Chicago is better left for people who enjoy negative Kelvin temperatures in February. That ain't me. I don't know if you can see behind me. I'm on the 29th floor of the Icon on Las Olas, downtown Fort Lauderdale. I'm a beach guy, man. I need the Navy. I need the ocean water and all that type of stuff. So So we're going to get into our brief here in a couple minutes. Real quickly, though, you're going to see a lot of winning trades today, but don't ever attend these sessions and think, this dude, his call sign's not Wiz, it's Nostradamus. We have losing trades, man. They happen. There are a lot of unknown unknowns out there, right? Donald Rumsfeld, even though I couldn't stand the guy, he had a great quote. He said, hey, man, in combat, and as you know, I believe trading is a form of combat. Somebody's going to win and somebody ain't. So in trading and in combat, there are known knowns, right? There are things we know that we know. We know Amazon has earnings. We know we have to get out of our ExxonMobil iron Condor today because they have earnings tomorrow. So there are known knowns. Then he said there's known unknowns, right? There's things that we know that we don't know. Hey, man, the weather over the target. Right now, it looks good. Don't know if it's going to be phenomenal when we get over the target. So there's known unknowns. And then his last sentence was really applies to trading here, folks, right? There are unknown unknowns. There are things we don't know that we don't know, right? So I'll give you a perfect example. Google back, 2-3 years ago, whenever it was, we had a nice iron Condor. We had a weekly options brief. Google had been channeling, nothing going on really. I'm like, you know what? Let's throw in a weekly options trade on Google. I'll never refer to it as Alphabet. I go to the gym after the market close, and breaking news: Google changes its name to Alphabet. Stock's up 5% after hours trading. I got blown out of that trade, right? You know what I did? I laughed. Okay, Wiz, you lost $5,000 on that trade. Who cares? That was an unknown unknown, and you have to. If I do all the planning in the world before I fly a mission over Syria, I'll look at mobile missile sites, radar, intelligence, satellite imagery, human, and all of a sudden there's a missile coming up at me that I didn't see. You just got to deal with it at that moment, folks. You can do all the planning in the world, but you have to understand there are some unknown unknowns. Okay, so I need to cover that because in some of these briefs, I get halfway through it, I'm like, man, we sound pretty damn good. We are, but folks, we lose some in combat and in training as well. So, okay. That's exactly right. Murphy was an aviator. That's a great point. Okay, so done with all that crap. I'm going to get into a normal live trade brief, folks. And what we're going to do, if you're a visitor right now, we do what's called SOT, about 10 to 15 minutes of an S, 10 to 15 minutes of an O, and then we'll get to the T. What do I mean by that? It ain't rocket surgery, folks. Strategic, operational, tactical. This is how I run my briefs. The average retail trader, and we're going over 300-400 people in this room right now, and there's usually 100, 150 of our members. So 150 of you are probably an average retail trader, meaning you're very tactical. And in this market, you wake up, Monday, it seems like a world ago, the president's, threatening to annihilate Rouhani in Iran and Jeff Bezos at Amazon. It's Wednesday. I don't even remember that happened, right? So it's very easy to get lulled into this. I'm going to stay a tactical trader. Let me put on my bunny slippers this morning, make some coffee, and watch CNBC for a trade idea. It's ridiculous, folks. Here at Top Gun Options, I'm going to give you a brief, about a 10 to 15 minute brief right now on what's going around the globe, economically, politically, militarily. Israel shot down a Sukhoi fighter ground attack jet, a Syrian jet yesterday, with two Patriot missiles, and we're long Raytheon. Iran threatening to, close the Strait of Hormuz. That'll put oil at $300 in a blink of an eye. And the United States has said, if you close the Strait of Hormuz, that's an act of war. All this stuff's going on, folks. And if you're just this tactical trader, you really don't have a macro picture. China, the PBOC, the People's Bank of China, jumped in Monday or Sunday night to save capitalism. Their market has rebounded, and then it's going to crash again, in my opinion. So I'm going to give you that quick brief. Then we do what I call, we peel back the onion. We're going to go one layer deep and then say, hey, what's going on domestically? What's going on here in the States? Jerome Powell testified last week. How are earnings looking? We got a GDP number coming out on Friday. I'm hearing rumors of maybe even a 5 in front of the decimal point. So we have to talk about what's going on operationally. And then, and only then, towards the end of this live trade brief today, will we get tactical and talk about a potential new trade and our existing trades. SOT. If you ain't doing it like this, folks, you're wrong. And I mean that with the full force of 26 years of doing this. I give speeches around the United States and literally around the world, and I bump into tactical traders all the time. Here, we're going to roll you inverted, and we're going to teach you the right way to do things. SOT. Pretend in your live trade briefs when you become a member here that you're an admiral or a general sitting there with your cigar in your mouth and your boots up on the table, listening to me giving you a brief worldwide, domestic, and then let's take a look at tactical. I owe all this stuff to the Navy, folks. I'm a political science major, poor kid from New Jersey, so I just borrowed what the Navy taught me, put it to my trading, and it's worked incredibly well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get airborne. And for those of you that are new, if I leave you in the dust, or usually in this brief, we're in what's called go to training. Okay, and go to training, there's got to be less than 200 people. Everybody can see each other's chat. So all my members chat back and forth. They're friends. So today, since we have over 200, we have to be in go to webinar. So if I'm not going to try to ignore your question, but I'm going to try and treat this like a normal live trade brief. So if my members have questions about existing positions and stuff like that, I'll probably drop anchor and talk to them. But if you're interested in becoming a member, at the end, I'll clear our regular members off, and I'll talk to you guys about how you can take a TUI test flight, and then maybe then I'll answer some of your questions, because we have a lot to cover today. Okay, real quick though, I threw this up on the Top Gun Options Facebook page. Went out to dinner last night on Las Olas here in Fort Lauderdale with some friends, and actually ended up having dinner. Everybody know who Roger Stone is? Roger Stone right now is he's essentially under the president, Paul Manafort, and the independent counsel is trying to go after Roger Stone really hard. He's a very close friend of Donald Trump. He signed a copy of his book to me, Stone's Rules, and very interesting discussion about what's going on in the United States today. And maybe we'll talk about that over beer sometime. But it's very interesting to hear his side of things. Okay, let's go. China targets the economy, not Trump, with the weaker yuan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at just the S&P 500 real quick. Back here, what was this, February, March, April? Holy crap, Batman, the markets were freaking the hell out over what? Potential trade. Remember these headlines? Potential trade war, market down, Dow's down 600 points. Okay, trade war fears ebb. No, now we might be in a trade war. Look at this volatility back here. Now we're actually in a trade war. Over the past 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, our Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said trade talks with China have broken down. Larry Kudlow, who used to be on CNBC, another friend of Trump, he hired him to come and be the market whisperer, right? Larry Kudlow came to Washington about 3 months ago and said what? Don't worry about the trade wars, folks. It's the adults are going to talk. The president's going to fire broadsides, but we're the adults. We'll get this done. Last week, and even a couple days ago, he said, yeah, it's looking like we're going to battle. And Peter Navarro, the president, one of the president's lead advisors, said the same thing. Hey, man, this is a zero-sum game. We are in a no-kidding trade war with China. What is the market doing, folks? So let me get this straight. Here's the holy crap, we're all going to die in a trade war, and here's the we're in a trade war. I'm going to teach you a lot of whizzisms, I call them, when you become a member here at TGO. One of them is the market only cares when it cares. Now, I know you're sitting there going, wow, that was worth the price of admission. Well, the price of admission was free, but it's the truth. Think about it for a second. The market only cares when it cares. Right now, that we're whistling past this trade war graveyard, right? One day you're going to wake up and the market is going to overreact and implode based upon these trade wars. We're going to cover Q2 earnings and how they're looking right now. We're off to a good start, and what's the but? The but is the forward guidance of some of these companies if we're going to be in a no-kidding trade war. So look, I call this the Golden Arches rally. Here's the S&P 500 bouncing, near-death experience after Q1 earnings. We bounce off the 200-day moving average, bounce off the 50, bounce off the 50. You think we're going to do that? right? A lot of these CEOs on these earnings calls are doing what? And we're looking pretty good, but might be a little nervous. So we'll get in earnings in a second here. But why are they nervous? So the weaker yuan is hitting the U.S. dollar. So the PBOC, as I said, jumped in the other day to save capitalism. We'll talk about FXI, the iShares China trade. We have a bearish spread on that. Talk about losing trades. It's a losing trade right now, but this is a short-term sugar fix, folks. When the government or the PBOC or when Uncle Sue jumps in to save capitalism, it might be a short-term, oh, yay, okay. But the market eventually wakes up and says, wait a minute, the government's having to jump in and save our markets. It must be even worse than we think. Right? So this is not good. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, we're in a trade war. What's the president threatening? Another $200 billion in something else? Trump plans 25% tariff on up to $200 billion in foreign cars as advisors helpless to stop him. Why is the president doing this, and why does he figure he can get away with it? First of all, he's doing it because it's the right thing to do. We've been in a trade war with China for 30, 40 years. We just didn't care that we were getting used. This guy's a New York real estate developer who's like, hey, man, I don't do deals unless they're win-wins. We've been in a win-lose, really lose. But he figures he has some airspeed on the jet. What do I mean by that? Look at the jobs numbers, folks. You can't, the African-American unemployment, there are more jobs than there are people available to work in this country, which as a libertarian, I need to reach for my Advil right now, because does it make sense that one person in this country is on unemployment? I don't and don't tell me, oh, well, they might not be able. If you're not able-bodied, you should be on disability. There should not be one person in this country receiving unemployment benefits. There are more jobs available, according to the Fed and the government, than there are people available to work. So if you're sitting in your parents' basement eating Cheetos, get up and go get a job. So there's my little political rant. But the president feels what? Jobs are strong. We might even on Friday see a GDP print of 5%. So the man feels like he's got a little room to maneuver in a trade war with China. Here's what I'm going to finish up with China, and our strategic brief is this. President Donald Trump, when he was a candidate, he campaigned on what? Very tough language on China. What did he say day one in office? Day one in office, I'm going to label these people what? A currency manipulator. Everybody remember that? And I'm critical of the guy folks, whether it's Obama, Trump, Clinton, whoever, if they're not doing what they say they're going to do, I'm going to call them out. So that's exactly right. A currency manipulator. He hasn't done that. I remember the clips. Day one, huge currency manipulator. Nobody labels currency manipulators better than me. Done. Forget about it. Didn't do it. Now, I know he's a negotiator. He's a real estate dude. He's keeping that one in his pocket. He can pick up the phone and call President Xi and go, dude, we're either going to sit down and hash this thing out and make it a win-win, or I'm going to label you. And that would be off to the races. And even today on CNBC, good discussion out of the guys about how a trade war might, hit this GDP by about maybe 0.5%. But guys, I got to be honest with you. I mean, Barack Hussein Obama would have given his kingdom for a 3 in front of this number, and we're talking about a 5. So, the market only cares when it cares, and right now, folks, it don't seem to be caring about the trade war. Now, today, the president, I think, as I'm speaking, is meeting with the head of the EU. And I'm laughing because literally from day to day, there's a new shiny red ball for this market or politicians to run after. It's almost like, and we're actually going to, and this is going to be shocking to my current members right now. You ready for this? We're going to place an Amazon trade today. Wiz, what are you high? You never place an earnings trade. It ain't an earnings trade. It's going to be a trade on Amazon, but it's not for earnings. Why am I bringing this up? Donald Trump on Monday ripped apart again. He Trump texted, since the guy allegedly doesn't drink. What happened the last time he did this? Amazon kind of wavered a little bit, like, holy crap, this guy's really going after us. And then it did that. What happened on Monday? The stock was flat, and yesterday was up 1.5%. So I think the market is becoming a little inoculated to some of these big issues, okay? Which is good, right? I call it smoking the hopium. I think the market right now with our M&Ms or McDonald's rally here is smoking a little, well, it's actually like that, a little bit of the hopium. Meaning, man, nothing can go wrong. Are you kidding me? What about oil? In November, folks, the Iranian sanctions go back into effect. November is literally a world away in this market. But think about it, folks. Monday, the president, in all caps, like an angry old man, threatened President Rouhani. And you know, Krimo, some young guy in North Korea was sitting there texting him going, dude, you're in trouble. Nobody talks to Trump like that. So it is a powerful term. It is hopium. Back when the Fed was doing quantitative easing 1, 2, 3, Operation Twist, quantitative easing 4, what did I say? I called it hopium. The market was smoking hopium. And whenever the Fed pulled away that punch bowl, we had what? A taper. Everybody remember the term taper? We had taper tantrums. How dare you pull away our liquidity? All right, we'll try and be grown up. Oh, wait, you pulled away more. So it is. It's a I made up that term, hopium. So, okay, let's go ahead and so that's kind of what's going on around the globe. Domestically here in the United States, here's what's funny. Yesterday, this was a headline in the Journal when the Dow's up 200 points. Remember yesterday, folks, the NASDAQ was down. Okay, then not everything, just because I don't track the Dow, folks, I track the S&P 500, but, everybody thought yesterday was a great day. Well, the NASDAQ was rolling over a little bit. But here's the headline today. Blue chips edge lower as trade tensions weigh. I think they literally recycle these headlines, folks. CNBC has stock footage now of if the Dow's down 1,000 points tomorrow, trade war fears in all red and stuff like that. So remember, the market only cares when it cares. We care all the time here at Top Gun Options. I put hedges and what I call tredges on. It's a trade, but it's also a hedge. For example, being long volatility right now would be, you could consider it a hedge, right? One of the wisdoms you're going to learn here at Top Gun Options is when volatility is cheap. Look at this, folks. Down here, we had an 11 print yesterday. What was it? 11.95 the VIX got down to. When vol is cheap, you buy it. I'm in South Florida right now, man. Beautiful day. Today's the day you buy hurricane insurance. Not in September when Hurricane Matthew's coming, right? So, and when volatility is expensive, you sell it. So the VIX, volatility, it's a little bit of a heart rate monitor, right? Freak out, no, nothing. Little freak out, nothing. Freak out, nothing. Freak out, nothing. So are you telling me that in the next week to 2, 3 weeks, nothing's going to happen to freak this market out? So I know we're limited for time today. Next week, if you become a member, you need to be getting long volatility. And we talked about this Monday in our live trade brief. That was your homework, right, for Tuesday. On these, triple digit updates like yesterday was a perfect day to get long volatility. Okay, because something is going to happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks to freak this market the hell out. What is it going to be, Wiz? I don't know. I just gave you what? In my opinion, a pretty damn good strategic and operational brief. Trade war with China. Real war with Iran. The ECB firing back at us in a potential trade war. Earnings. We got Facebook and Apple earnings coming up. I think they're going to print money, but who knows? Could we roll over on earnings? Kind of a sell on the news event. All of these potential missiles are out there. One of them, the market's going to care in the next week or two about something. It's going to pull back. And volatility is going to spike. So I'll teach you guys how to do that when you become a member here. We had some great bearish trades on volatility recently. We were trading VXX in our weekly options service. We did 2 weekly options trades that we got out of in a day. So as volatility spiked, these were like on Mondays or something. The bad news over the weekend, and the market would open down 200-300 points on the Dow. And what would I do? folks, nobody's going to care about this by Friday. So we'd sell bear call spreads on VXX. We closed both of them 2 weeks in a row in a day for what, 70, 80% profits. So that's that's in our weekly option service, and we can talk about that some other time. But let's go ahead and press. What else do we have to cover here? The biggest thing is obviously on Friday, folks. So look down here. It's GDP. All right, GDP. GDP, in case you didn't know, comes out in 3 parts: advanced, preliminary, and final. Only the government gets to do stuff like this, right? I'm going to give you this number, but I'm going to give it to you 3 separate times. So the advanced print is what? It's the release the earliest, Wiz. Come on, I'm a political science major too, and tends to have the most impact. So from Monday, the president's saying I'm going to vaporize Iran and Amazon, to yesterday. What was yesterday? I don't remember. Trump did something yesterday. Oh, I love tariffs, right? Tariffs are great. To today, he's meeting with the EU while ripping apart his attorney who recorded him. To I don't even know what the hell's. Do we have anything tomorrow? Oh yeah. So tomorrow, folks, we have durable goods orders. Okay, and also this, our goods trade balance. We also get some China numbers tomorrow, the Conference Board's leading index over in China. So tomorrow, the story is going to be about durable goods. What's the forecast over here? Somebody just asked, whenever you see the word core, it means X. So whenever you see the word core, just replace it with the word excluding. This is X transportation. So tomorrow, when you see core durable goods, it's X autos, airplanes. And then regular durable goods is all of them is that one. So we're looking for a massive uptick, right? The forecast is 3% from what? Being a negative. Woo. So these numbers here tomorrow could move the market. But I'm going to tell you, look at this. The last GDP print we saw was a 2. The consensus is for a 4. Our GDP is expected to have doubled. So this is why I'm saying this is a very tactical market. That's why it's easy to get lulled into being very tactical. But from one day to the next, guys, this is like a boxing match. You're going to get exhausted. Stay strategic. Look operational, and then get tactical and trade. So that's what we're going to do right now is get tactical and look at some of our existing trades and also look at a potential new one. So how many of you are, this is to my existing members, let's go to CSX. We have a great looking bull put spread. Let me grab my cheaters here on CSX. So when you become a member, folks, I'm going to show you our 6 or 7 okay, good. A lot of you guys are still in CSX. Look at that. Look at our CSX trade. So when you become a member, I'm going to give you access to what our Jan 20. So if you're not familiar with options, we can hop in our Super F-18, our Super Hornet, and go the speed of, I guess, light. I wish I could do that. Out to January of 2020. That's as far out as the options go. In the fall, the Jan 21 options will roll out, and we'll close the Jan 19s. We kind of leapfrog our long-term positions. But I'm going to give you access to our Jan 20, what sectors we're long in. And in our transportation sector, our trade is CSX, baby. We love CSX. And this has been a quiet gift that keeps on giving. So exactly, Giles, loving CSX. John is up 46%. Very well done. Dan's loving CSX. Awesome, guys. So let's talk about CSX, because last week we had earnings. And I'm going to tell you, I was waiting to get into a good transport. I was trying to pick which rail would look good, or, a FedEx or UPS. No FedEx or UPS, guys. Jeff Bezos is building his own FedEx and UPS, and those guys are in trouble. So I wanted to go with a rail. And I'm going to teach you here, guys, at Top Gun Options, I have Gordon Gekko moments. So if you haven't seen the movie Wall Street, you need to leave the trading room right now. I mean, if you haven't, please rent it tonight. Eli's up 60% in CSX. Sweet. When did we get into CSX? This was a Gordon Gekko moment, folks. I got into CSX right here. Oh, come on, Wiz. I thought you're the guy that makes fun of dudes at cocktail parties that say, I got in right here. I'm that dude right now. You know what happened right here, folks? Why did this stock gap down like that? And members, you're not allowed to answer. You guys know the answer. If you're new to TGO, why did we get into CSX right at that bottom? Can somebody tell me? Sometimes you are that dude. Tropic Thunder. I'm the dude playing the dude that thinks he's another dude. There you go, man. The CEO, Pete, that's a new name. The CEO died unexpectedly. And guess what? And if you read my book, From Sea Level to Sea Level, you know that one of the things that I hit companies about is what? Succession planning. So exactly, it happens to all of us, man. So CSX didn't have a new skipper standing by. In the fleet, in the U.S. Navy, there's the commanding officer, the executive officer, 4 department heads, and the pilots. If the skipper gets clipped, the XO moves right up. And then one of the department heads moves up to XO. So guess what? The dude died. They put in a new CEO. And the old CEO, what's his name? Went right out of my head, but whatever. He had a turnaround plan. He had a pretty good turnaround plan, and the market gapped down because they said, first of all, you don't have a new skipper, and second of all, we don't know if whatever skipper you pick is going to be able to pull this off. Ladies and gentlemen, since that time, the stock itself is up 35%, but we've been selling spreads and short calls and all sorts of stuff against this. My CSX is up, about 68%. So 68% since December 21st. Can I get a hell yeah if you're a new member and you'd love to be up 68%? January, February, March, April, May, June, in 5 months or 6 months. Holy crap, man. A hedge fund would close if they were up. They'd stop taking money and go party in the Hamptons for the rest of the year. They'd be done. So exactly. A lot of hell yes. So here's what I'm getting at. Let's get tactical. We have an existing trade. So let's do a little bit of technical analysis on CSX. First of all, let's cover what's the existing position. Let's go. Where's CSX? So this is our member page. If you're not a member, you're probably like, what the heck's this? So we have a CSX bull put spread. It's the, what is it? The 60, am I in the right one here? We need to be in accelerated retirement. There we go. Looking at the wrong member page. So we have 4 different model portfolios, folks. Here's CSX. So this is last week's trading session. Dan, I'm up about $4,000 on CSX with long call diagonals, selling front month calls with just 3 contracts. Dan, that's awesome. So here's our bull put spread from last week. The 67.5, 65 bull put spread. Okay. We got about 57 cents for that bull put spread. And here are the risk metrics, right? Risking about $5,800 to maybe make $1,700. Why did I pick the 67.5? We're 67.5, right about there. So folks, this is a gap move. You see this move from here to here on earnings? The stock gapped up. That's what we call a gap. Stocks can only do 3 things after a gap move. And let me just draw a line there. Let's just say that's half the gap. That's not close. Let me use my arrow or my just line tool. So there's a gap. Here's about half the gap, right? There's a gap. There's half of it. So technical wise, a stock can only do one of 3 things after this gap. It can go, crap. That was stupid. This was a short squeeze, and actually CSX is in trouble, and it breaks half the gap. That's obviously what? Very, very bearish. Hopefully you get that one. That's worth the price of admission. Or a stock, after it gaps up, so there's your gap. It could come back to half the gap and then test it and go higher, which is obviously bullish. Okay, so we covered it could go down, which is bearish. It could retrace to half the gap. It's called fill the gap, right? It could fill half the gap and then go up. Or it could do what CSX is doing, which is gap and then get on its horse, which is VB, very bullish. So what did I do last week in our live trade brief? I put in a bull put spread right here at half the gap. It's probably up there a little bit. 67.5 is right about there. So really, let's see what this trades up. What, about 400, 500 bucks? What were the strikes again? The 67.5, 65 out to Aug 18, regular August expiration. So let's just see how this one's doing. 67.5, 65. Sell that, buy the 65. And folks, if I'm going a little quick and you're new to options, just know we're a lot slower. So what did I say, 52 cents? 57, 30 contracts. So 57 with 30 contracts. Let's just take a look. 57 minus 32. Let's do 57 minus, it's currently at 32 cents, which is what we want, 25 times 30 contracts. So this trade is up $750 in a week. So what's that, Fish? About 45% gain in a week. Let me get a hell yeah if you'd like to make $750 in literally since last week. Unlimited risk. So what I want to do, folks, and what I want to do is good. A lot of hell yeahs out of members. Oh, I got a heck yeah. Exactly. Well, HE double hockey sticks, right? So here we go. What is my what is my strategic mindset right now with CSX? It didn't fill half the gap, and it's kind of flatlined. This is a good-looking chart to do what? This is feeling good, Lewis. So it really isn't on what I call a tear. It's kind of flat. And this will be an interesting analogy for some of you folks that are new to Top Gun options. But earnings is a slap in the face. And I haven't been slapped in the face that much in my life, but here's what I'm getting at: is usually it's a violent action, either up or down after earnings, and then for like the next 5 days, you kind of stand there and rub your face, or analysts go back to their cubicles and really dig into the earnings, and then they come out with stuff and everything like that. So CSX right now, folks, I think is going to hold this, but we're going to kind of see a little bit of a sideways move until exactly. It's going to consolidate, right? There's good articles on CSX. CSX profit tops Wall Street on cost cuts and pricing power. So listen, you can't cut yourself to profitability. I mean, you can for a little bit, but it's the pricing power, man. The transports and Donald Trump's infrastructure plan, which obviously is on not even the back burner. It's on like the back burner in somebody else's house because of all the other alligators closer to the point. But look at this. CSX has improved operations by trimming its workforce, reducing service times, and running fewer, more fuel efficient and longer trains under Jim Foote. He's the new skipper. So, that's his name, Hunter Harrison. These measures were initiated by who? The old skipper, Hunter Harrison. When he died, there you go, in December of 2017. It's looking very likely that we're going to get the kind of transformation that we would have gotten with Hunter Harrison if he were still alive, said Edward Jones analyst Dan Sherman. While the CSX turnaround remains in early stages, the new skipper told Reuters that he was increasingly confident of his team's ability to deliver on the plan. So if you're new to Top Gun options, the immediate answer is yes. I didn't ask you a question, Wiz. You're thinking it. Yes, I would get into a new Jan 20. If you're a new TGO member, or you're here for a 2-week test flight, or you're one of my existing members who hasn't gotten your transport on yet, this is a freaking yes, guys. And don't be the person that sits there. I'm going to break you of this habit. If you're sitting there going, Wiz, I'm going to wait for it to pull back, then I'll get in it. As it does that. I can't stand when people say that to me. I'm like, oh, you think it's going to pull back? Okay, why don't you mortgage your wife, kids, house, boat, and airplane and short the stock if you think it's going to pull back? I'd never do that. Then how do you know it's going to pull back? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to get into Amazon too early. But here's back in October, right here, I bailed out. I said, everybody, I'm done with Facebook and Apple. Too much political risk, limousine liberals eating each other apart. Jeff Bezos is as quiet as a church mouse. Everybody get into Amazon. I jumped out of Apple and Facebook and look at Amazon. Do you know how many times, especially with my private coaching clients, Richard, if you're in here, I'm saying it to your face. If you're not, I'll send you a text. But my buddy Richard, we were doing our coaching call yesterday. Every coaching call, every other week I did with the guy, I'm like, did you get into Amazon yet? I'm waiting for it to pull back. And I gave him the same freaking speech every other coaching session. Like, dude, how do you know when this Amazon's up? Look at that, 100% since I said to get into it. So don't sit here and give me this whole, well, Wiz, it had a good move on earnings, I'm going to wait for it to pull back. When you're looking at a trade that's all the way out to January of 2020, are you serious? We're going to bicker and argue over, I'm going to wait for it to pull back a couple bucks. Forget it, man. We're going to make some serious money selling upfront or front month upside calls and spreads and everything. So I don't want to waste too much time on this, but you should be giving me a vertical head nod like, dude, I don't know if it's going to pull back. I think we're seeing very, very bullish articles. And again, guys, I'm not ignoring questions. There's just everything's flying by. This is why we keep TGO membership, nice and tight here. Does this dividend stock have any more upside? Yeah, great article. Good, just good, yes on CSX. So here's what I want to do. So, yeah, hey, Kevin, I saw your comment the other day about the Amazon crypto, but here's what I want to do. We're going to do a tactic. This is called legging into an iron condor. Okay, so we have an existing bull put spread right here. And a bull put spread is me saying, hey, CSX, I don't think you're going to be below this price by August expiration, the middle of August, right? But here's what I want to do today. It's called legging into an iron condor, and I'm going to do that. There's a couple ways to do that. First of all, a little technical analysis. When's the last time we've been this high, so to speak? Well, it's not 5 o'clock yet. Never. Okay, so, and look at that run. Very good run out of CSX. So we are at technically all-time highs with CSX. Well, Wiz, then you really can't pick resistance. There is no resistance. You might be right. So let's cross off our checklist the technical analysis part of looking at where we think we can kind of throw in what is called a bear call spread on the top of this. Let's take a look at what the options market is telling us. So we're going to go out to, along the top here is what's called the expiration, right? So August 18 expiry. I'm going to take a look, and I don't have too much time to go into in-depth at what this is, but I'm going to look, we're almost at $70. See it? $69.99. So I'm going to click on the 70 strike, and I'm going to take a look at what is called the at-the-money straddle. And if you're sitting here going, Wiz, you just lost me, just hang out, and you're going to learn all this stuff. So the at-the-money straddle right now is priced at about $2.80. What does that mean? Check this out. With a 56% degree of certainty, the option, you see the little top of this tent right here? The green part of the tent? The blue line is CSX. The options market is saying with a 56, better than half certainty, that CSX is going to stay between 67.20 and 72.80. That's called the straddle. So why don't we look at a bear call spread up around that 72.80 point as our starting? Because that's what the options market's saying. By the third week in August, we don't think with a 56 the at the money straddle, guys, since we're literally not at 70, that's going to be off a little bit. It should be about a 60% certainty. Isn't this cool? So this, let's take a look at the, what did it say, 72? I'm going to take a look at let's do the 72, 72 and a half bear call spread. And let's just see what that's priced at. 14 cents. That's looking pretty, let's 30 contracts. This might actually end up being an unbalanced iron condor. Yeah, we can do a heck of a lot more. Let's take a look at, this is going to be, you know what, then this is going to be an unbalanced iron condor. Why did we only do 30 contracts back in? Oh, we did, well, that's a $2.50 wide. That's what I was, is there 74 and a half? There isn't. Maybe there's 74. Yeah, it's going to be a little unbalanced, but, let's not bicker and argue over a couple, over half a strike. Okay? So, Mark, that's what I just did, right? And Abe, yeah, this is all recorded and you'll get access to the replay. But Mark, so that's the expected move is called the at the money straddle. I just looked at that. They don't have, so the existing spread, guys, is a $2.50 wide spread with 30 contracts. I can't get a $2.50 wide spread here. I can get $2, but that's pretty. What would be the $3 wide? Nah, that's way too much. Now let me go back down to 74. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pseudo leg into an iron condor. The 70, well, yeah, or maybe, no, the 72.5, 75 probably. Let's take a look at that one. No, that's only 34 cents. Nope, I wouldn't do that one. Okay, so let me stick with what I was doing. The 72s and the yeah, and now I'm just going to stick with what I was looking at. Okay, the 74s. Now, so this, ladies and gentlemen, I'd look to sell. Let me just check my metrics real quick. Okay, you know what? And you know what? Just for since it's going to be unbalanced anyway, I'm just going to do 35 contracts. Why 35 contracts? Give me 2 minutes. All right, here we go, folks. Let's go ahead and start building this trade. I'm going to look to sell 35. Why 35? Like I just said, give me 2 minutes. Of the Aug 18. Why August 18th expiration? Well, because I have an existing bull put spread. And this goes out a couple weeks where the analysts are still running around right now on CSX and trying to get their story straight on whether to upgrade it, downgrade it, neutral, all that type of stuff. So I think this is a good time period. Of the 72 calls, where did I get the 72 calls? Well, I started by trying to use some technical analysis. Where are we? Is there any recent resistance? No, we're at historic highs. Okay, well then I went to what? I looked at the at-the-money straddle and said, hey man, this is what the options market is pricing in that CSX is going to be trading around by that expiration. So that's why I chose the 72 strike. So selling 35 of the 72 calls is me saying, hey, CSX, it's Wiz. What's up, Wiz? By selling these calls, I don't think you're going to be above 72 by the August expiration. Okay, man. Great. Well, what if you're wrong, Wiz? And every analyst comes out over the next 2 weeks and says we're the best transport ever and we go through the roof. Well, good for you, and that's going to be great for my Jan 20 long, but it'll suck. So I'm going to buy these 74 calls as a hedge in case you do have a rip your face off rally. Okay, so I'm essentially neutral to, my short-term strategic mindset on this is that it levels out here, right? So I'm not necessarily bearish, but for this tactic, I'm neutral to bearish. I'm using calls, and it's a spread. So this tactic, if you're new to options trading, is a bear call spread. Like I said, I'm not super bearish. I just think it's going to trade in this range a little bit until it decides to take another leg higher. Bear call spread. Now, if you're new to options trading, you at least got that far, right? Okay, he's neutral to bearish. He's using calls, and that's a spread. All right, I got it. Sometimes what's frustrating when you're new to options is okay, Wiz, it's also, wait, I'm getting paid to do this trade. Damn right. And so this is called a credit spread too. Yep. And these are vertical, it's a vertical spread. Yeah. Don't get wrapped around the axle. I kind of use like the NATO naming convention, right? At MiG-29, we call it a flanker or a fulcrum, whatever. I call it what it is. Strategically, it's a bear call spread. But of course, we're getting paid to do this. Look at this. We're bringing in a credit of $1,500. We're getting paid to do this trade. Bear call spread. So let me do something real quick. I'm going to take a screenshot of this trade because what I do is as soon as we get done this trading session, I render the recording. It takes about 20 minutes. And I write my email up and I show you a screen. I put this in the email, a screenshot of the actual trade. So you can see it. Okay. So I try and now it's already, the trade's already gone down 2 cents, which is good, right? So 2 times 35, it's already up, couple or $100 or whatever it is. I'm going to try and get filled on this trade. I'd probably put this in at 72 cents, 42 cents. And I'd only go about 2 cent wide, meaning I'd try and get a fill for today up as high as 44 and as low as 40, which it is right now. But I'd put it in right now at about 42 and just hang out as it trades today. I mean, it's up 1% right now. So I'd keep it at 42 cents, to be honest with you. Okay. All right. Now, if you're new to Top Gun options, Bob, CSX Jan 20 call is at what price? Bob, become a member today or take a 2-week test flight and you'll get access to what our Jan 20 positions are. Don't want to give, my marketing folks always tell me I give away too much stuff. So when you become a member, you'll get access to all of our Jan 20, what the Jan 20 would be. But here's the deal, folks. When I click on this analyze button, you're going to look at one place and one place only, and it's the max risk. You ready? Right here. And if I didn't tell you to do that, all my members know to do this, but all the new folks, I guarantee if I didn't say anything, the first place your eyes would have went was there. Wow, there's a 70% probability I could make $1,500 in a couple weeks. Yep. That's stupid to look at that. Don't ever do that again. As an options trader, as a fighter, we always look at max potential risk first. We assume the worst is going to happen and we plan for it. And if that's not acceptable to you, either don't do the mission or what's this risk based on, this $5,500? I told you to give me 2 minutes and it's 2 minutes. It's based on these 35 contracts. Now I'm going to teach you at Top Gun Options that we have what's called an SOP, Standard Operating Procedures. And based on a $100,000 model portfolio, my rule of thumb is, hey man, I don't want to risk more than 5% on any one trade, which if you do political science math is about $5,000. Why? That's me, folks. After 26 years, well, no, I probably came up with my 5% rule early in my career because I remember trading options at the beginning and just not, wow, I could make $2,000 in a month, and then I lost X amount. I'm like, whoa, you have to look at max risk first. If you ain't okay with that, either don't do it or do less contracts. We have a couple, we literally have a couple billionaires here at TGO. They have a family office, but they trade with me for fun. They're probably looking at me. I didn't see them in here, but they can do 150 contracts, guys. So again, you're getting the eavesdrop on what I would do. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not a registered investment advisor, broker dealer. You're just getting the eavesdrop on what to do. So, Doug, we'll cover the test flight here in a little bit. But so, folks, I'm risking 55 to make 1,400. Okay, and let me grab a screenshot of this guy so I can put this in the email as well. Some of you might be looking at that and going, hey, man, that risk to reward ratio, I mean, it's a good looking trade, 70% probability of making that much money. Here's the coolest part about this trade, guys, is this isn't the max risk. All right, Wiz, you had me in this webinar up until that point. It says right there, man, that's the max risk. Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget we have an existing bull put spread. So I'm going to show you here in a second. It's physically, if you only did this bear call spread up here, which I would not do. So to answer about the 5 people already asked this question, is this a good standalone trade, Wiz? No. With the bull put spread on, this is a great iron condor. With an iron condor, we believe something's going to stay in a range. This is kind of the football field, man. CSX, you can run around out here, just don't step out of bounds. So let me show you what the total risk in this trade is, okay? So, John, that's a good question. Not really, because there's going to be so much noise around the GDP print. I don't think it's going to impact CSX one way or the other, especially after a good run like this. Excellent question, John. But let me add the existing bull put spread. What was it? The 67.5, 65. So we're going to sell the 67.5 puts. And this is going to look a little weird since, and buy the 65. It's going to look a little weird because we have different contracts. So this is kind of what I call an unbalanced iron condor. Don't get wrapped up in the terms, folks. But let's take a look at the metrics here. Okay, so the max, so if you looked at the risk for this trade right here, it says $5,700. We did this one last week, right? Holy crap, Wiz, you're risking $5,800 there, $5,800. The one you just showed us was what, 56, whatever hell it was. That's $10,400 in max risk in these two trades. Are you high? No, it's not 5 o'clock yet. I'm not high. let me show you what the actual risk is in the trade. Okay, so yeah, no, the original. Oh yeah, sorry about that. It's 30. Good catch, Tim. I specifically went to type 30, and I didn't. That was stupid. So the bull put spread, sell the 68. Yeah, it's 30. Good catch, Tim. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you ready for this? Now let me show you the magic. If you're sitting here going, Wiz, 10 grand in risk, that's how big my portfolio is. You ready for this magic? Everybody look on max risk when I click on this button. 3, 2, 1. What is the max risk of the total trade? 5 frickin' grand. This ain't sorcery, folks. This ain't some sort of, men lie, numbers don't. Isn't that exactly? Sean's like, wow. So let's think about this intuitively, folks. We have a bull put spread on that we put last Wednesday. Now it's called legging into an iron condor, right? So we did this trade last week. Now we're putting on this one. This is another reason I call this a football trade. So the blue line right here is CSX. It's the current stock price as I'm talking right now. Here is the bull put spread, and here's the bear call spread. So let's make this into a little bit of a football upright. So let's think about this intuitively. Even Charlie Brown with that woman Lucy, it wasn't this unlucky. Let's kick the football. So CSX is a football. We want this football. How many times have you seen a football game where the damn football hits the upright and goes in? All I care about is CSX. It can hit the upright or this upright and go in. We just want it to stay between these two uprights. So it's physically impossible for even Charlie Brown, for CSX to one day blow out your bear call spread and your bull put spread. The stock can't do that, folks. So you could only, quote unquote, lose on one of the spreads. Does that make sense? That's why the risk ain't 10 grand. It's half that. Now, if you're following me and just kind of giving me the hairy eyeball, don't worry about it. When you become a member, you're going to get access to an 1.5-hour training session on just this tactic. I'm not going to, this is why we do the training sessions at night. It's so we can have a glass of wine and shoot the shit, and during the live trade briefs, focus on the trade so I can go through these pretty damn quick. But isn't this cool, folks? So we're risking $5,100 to potentially make $2,400 in a couple weeks. This is a beautiful looking iron condor. So following you, and that is Mark. I'm following you, and that's kind of scary. That's good. That means you know what you're doing. I'm actually going to let me take a screenshot of the overall iron condor, what it looks like right now, or when I get filled on the bear call spread. So let me save this file, CSX iron condor 725. So yeah, everything's recorded. You're going to get the replay here in a little bit, and you'll get the screenshots of these trades right here. All sorts of cool stuff. Let me grab this one. So, and we're getting tight on time. Iron Condor 725 metrics. Here's what's cool is you don't, and you could, if you're not in this trade, either of these trades, you could place this as, this can be one order, folks. This is called an iron condor. If you sent this to your broker right now, they're like, okay, that's an iron condor. This is one trade. But I use the term legging into an iron condor because what did we do? Well, last Wednesday, if you weren't with us, we did the bull put spread. So that's done. So the legging into it part means, hey man, I'm tacking on the bear call spread now to make this a total iron condor. Okay, and I'll get to everybody's questions in a minute here. I just wanted to let me knock this out. I don't know if we're gonna have thanks, Harry. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get to the Amazon trade, guys. We got to move, and we have Wrath of God raining. Typical afternoon here in South Florida. Wrath of God rain, and then it's beautiful in a million degrees. I do not adjust in iron condor, folks. What are you talking about, Wiz? If CSX is going to make a move this way or this way, you adjust the individual spreads. Again, folks, hour and a half training on just this tactic. Here, let me show you. When you become a Full Throttle member, and we did this session last week, guys, didn't we? Full Throttle. I think our last session, last Thursday night, there it is, guys, right here. Look, July 20th, we did Full Throttle session 8, Iron Condor. So if you kind of have, like Mark just said, I'm following you, which is scary. Well, here's an hour and a half lecture from last week on an Iron Condor. Nobody leaves until every question is answered, right? Exactly. If you were at Disney right now, you can go buy a rain poncho for $82. And then as soon as you get out of line to walk outside, the rain stopped. So, okay, so that is our Iron Condor on CSX. Rick, good question. Hey, Wiz, can we use those original bull put spread strikes for the Iron Condor? Rick, I'd probably go up a little bit, my friend. I'm holding mine because it's already profitable, but Rick, maybe you look at going up to the 60. What would be maybe the 68, 66 and a half? So I'd go up a little bit, my friend, because it does look like it's flattened out, but it's still elevated. So I'd go up a little bit. Okay. So, Dan, watch, take notes, learn, do. That's exactly right. And Dan, what do we say here at Top Gun Options? Open a paper trading account, man. I never read a book on aerodynamics and ran out to the F-18 and tried to get airborne. I would have been dead in 0.3 seconds. You go to the simulator building, folks. Give yourself an engine fire, a bird strike. I mean, you sit in a simulator, folks. So, Dan, I appreciate that. Bruce, Raytheon, nothing to talk about with Raytheon. Earnings, tomorrow? I covered Raytheon for 20, 30 minutes yesterday in the primary live trade brief, so make sure you watch the replay. Robin, I do understand Iron Condors. I don't understand how you had 497 credit on Robin. It's just the two spreads put together. If you can look at the math of these two spreads, that's what it ends up working out to be. Mainly because it's unbalanced and the strikes are, that one's a $2 wide, 2.5. So the math is off. Okay, everybody's screaming to talk about Amazon. I'd love to keep going on CSX here, guys. I'd love to tell you what my Jan 20 trade is. Or actually, when you become a member, we're going to talk about a new Jan 20 trade next week. I'd look to put on, I'd either add to my existing or I'll show new members, if you take your test flight today or sign up, what a new Jan 20 would look like. Okay, so there's your tease. Because I do want to, man, so the accelerated retirement session, guys, is every Wednesday, and it's supposed to be an hour. But since I had to do my 10 to 15 minute, this is Wiz, we will talk Amazon. So Amazon, guys, Monday, the threat to any Amazon trade that I have briefed since we got into it in October, I mean, we traded Amazon before that, but a Jan along is what? Donald Trump. Okay, Jeff Bezos ain't Mark Zuckerberg. He ain't Tim Cook. He's not Howard Schultz. Howard Schultz turns Starbucks into the world's largest restroom and needle exchange, and then leaves 2 weeks later as the stock implodes 5%. Brilliant. Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, they're all limousine liberals. They have regulatory and political risk. Jeff Bezos has been as quiet as a church mouse. Does everybody remember, like 3-4 months ago, Tim Cook on stage, wherever he was, going, I don't know what they're doing at Facebook, man, but our privacy and everything. The next day, Mark Zuckerberg's like, in nice limousine liberal terms, he called Tim Cook a liar. So while they all ate each other and continue, Amazon sits in the background and doesn't say a word. The last time this dude does anybody remember the last time this dude got political? It was about 2 years ago, sitting on a stage. Somebody asked him a question about Donald Trump, and he said, Donald Trump, I'd put that guy on one of my rockets and blast him into outer space. Ha 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 ha. Everybody laughs and everything like that. The next time you heard from him with a political post was the election night at like 3 a.m. Dear President-elect Trump, I love you and reunite the country. This dude ain't stupid. So he's using the post. God bless this guy. That Donald Trump loves Amazon as a business. he can't stand Jeff Bezos as a dude, especially with the Washington Post. To the president's credit, the Washington Post should register as a lobbyist because it ain't. What is it, like 98? The last Pew or the research firm looked at the Washington Post coverage of the president. It's been 98% negative. So I get it's childish to lash out like that. Dude, you're the president, grow up. But he's a New York real estate developer, man. And I'm from Jersey. My sister knows the Donald very well. She runs Dune Capital in New York, and her old partner is Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary. So I've met Steve Mnuchin. But anyway, guys, here's what I'm getting at. The last time Trump poked around Amazon and antitrust and using a post office and huge, I'm coming after you, the stock kind of wavered a little bit and then did what? It didn't care. What happened Monday? The president threatened to annihilate Iran and Jeff Bezos. What happened? Nothing. So, Ray, good point. It's only 98% negative. It does feel like 100. Well, and Mark, you're exactly right. The president's human. And not to get too political, but last week, the whole Kiev thing, it was a disaster, I'll admit. It was a disaster because the guy, and I probably would have done the same thing. There's no collusion. The dude's like, and Putin later in the day, did anybody see his interview where he said, hey, no offense to President Trump, but you know, when he was over here, there was 500 CEOs here. Not to offend your president, but he just isn't a big fish. Our intelligence services, and he poked us. He's like, unlike your intelligence services, don't spy on its own people. Of course they do. That was a lie. But it was comical. But the president can't separate himself and what the independent counsel's doing from, of course, Russia interfered in our elections. Does anybody remember Barack Hussein Obama interfering in Benjamin Netanyahu's election, Ronald Reagan with the Iran-Contra? Folks, we put the Shah of Iran in power. We interfere in everybody's elections, but somehow we get all indignant that the Russians did. The point being is, yes, they interfered. He could have done, of course they interfered, and I'm innocent, but he blew it. I get it. Here's what I'm getting at, folks. The whole politics of this is Monday, Amazon shrugged when the president was throwing shit at him. I 99.9% of the time do not do earnings trades. Earnings are when they're tomorrow with Amazon. Let's take a look at what they expect. I'm actually going to look at a trade a month out. It's not an earnings trade. It goes through earnings, but guess what? In a month from now, Amazon's a $2,000 stock by the end of the year, period. Let's take a look. And could it sell off on earnings tomorrow? Yep. But that's why I'm going to go out about a month on this trade. Could it have blowout earnings tomorrow and keep going up? Yeah, it could. I don't care. I'm going to give this trade about 3 or 4 weeks to work. But let's look at what the earnings at the money straddle is. Let's see how wide it is. What are we at? 1848. 1849. Let's just say 1850. Wow, what's that, like 88 bucks? Yikes. So, but 100, no, wrong expiration. That one. What did I say? 88? Man, I was off. It's $100. So here's what the market is expecting Amazon to move or to stay in between is how I should say it. So right here and right here, Amazon, the options market is pricing in this type of move as low as 17.48 and as high as 19.51. Can anybody tell me what the middle of that is? Just looking at that using some Kentucky windage math. Anybody know what that is? I'm almost done writing it. Where's your guesses? About 1,800. Thanks, Fish. So, and if you remember, you know how I believe that Amazon and like the S&P 500, thank you, Karen, that's exactly right. The markets love even numbers. You look at this 1,700, look at all the round number levels for Amazon. The next stop for Amazon is 1,900, in my opinion. Well, Wiz, what if earnings suck? Well, it might come down to 1,800 because these are magnet levels, folks. The market likes round numbers. Traders like round numbers, okay? So I think Amazon, if you're flipping a coin, I don't flip coins, I look at numbers, it's going to see 1,900 before it sees 1,800 again. And even if it does see 1,800, what's it going to do? See 1,900 again. So this ain't necessarily an earnings trade. This is me saying by 3 weeks from now, whether it's good or bad earnings, and I think they destroy it, like Google did, it's going to be above 1,800 easily. So let's look at, I'm going to hop in my jet, fly out to AUG 18 expiration, and let's look at like what's the 1,800 puts? And maybe what's that, 1795. So I'm going to look at a bull put spread. I'm trading through the noise here. Amazon could have a rip your face off rally tomorrow or implode, or it doesn't matter. By the middle of August, folks, look at this chart, man. You cannot keep Amazon down. They had their Amazon Prime week. I'm also a member and a victim. The thing keeps going up. The main risk to this trade is political. But I think just like the trade wars in the overall market, I think we're getting a little immune, or I'm going to say inoculated, right? We got a little inoculation against Trump hates Amazon and the Washington Post. Duh. This is the second time he's attacked it this year. So that's the risk. I don't think there's a business risk. I don't think Jeff Bezos is getting on stage tomorrow to talk about how he wants to save humanity. I mean, Christ almighty, the guy's the richest dude in the world, and some of his European factories are on strike because they pay him literally peanuts and they're not allowed to go to the bathroom. So this is the bull put spread that I'd look at. Here's the new Amazon trade for the accelerated retirement portfolio. I'm going to look to sell 35 of the AUG 18 1,800 puts. That's me saying, hey, Amazon, I think you're going to be above this round number of 18. I think you're going to be up at 1,900, but that's just me. Well, what if you're wrong, Wiz? Donald Trump comes out and says 6 the SEC and the FT, everybody, and whatever. The stock implodes. I just don't. Again, folks, as a Hornet pilot and an options trader, I look at everything that can kill me. I don't see a lot of horrible earnings could kill Amazon. And it would do it for about 3 days, and people would buy that dip. All the people, all my coaching clients are like, I'm waiting for Amazon to pull back to get in. If it does, I'm going to beat them about the head, neck, and chest to get into it. So this is our hedge. We're long these puts in case Amazon does close. So this is the exact opposite type of trade that I just did on CSX. I'm bullish on Amazon. I'm using puts, and it's a spread. What's this called? A bull put spread. And again, it's also called a credit spread and a vertical spread, blah, 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 whatever. We're getting paid we're bringing in a credit, folks. What is that? $3,200, $3,300 in a month. But let's take a look at what the max potential. Let's take a look at our risk first. Right around my $5,000, guys. Risking about what's that? 30 contracts would be around 5. Okay, I'll just do that. 30, 35 contracts for me. So let's go ahead and so we're risking 5,700 to potentially make 2,800. That is a nice risk to reward ratio. Here's what I love about credit spreads, folks. If you're new to options trading, we're selling something, right? Whenever you sell something, you like, and literally I can almost see the Ferrari dealer down here in Fort Lauderdale. When you sell a $250,000 Ferrari to that dude with his midlife crisis, what happens the immediate moment he pulls off of your lot? That ain't no $250,000 Ferrari. Theta, time decay, starts eating away at that. You like that as the dealer, because if he hangs up the phone from his significant other, pulls back in an hour later and says, "Oh, dude, I got to drive. I want to get this back." All right, I'll buy it back from you for $200,000, moron. That's why you want to be a seller of something, right? So keep an eye on theta rate here as this trade goes. Let's take a look at the life of this trade. You ready? Let's just hop in our time machine and start going forward. Every day that goes by, you make money in Amazon with time decay because you sold this spread. And this will be a wizism you're going to learn. Unched. Unchanged on the day equals time decay. What do I mean by that? Amazon just sits here for a couple days and moves sideways. You make money. That's theta. That's the Greek sign for theta. Unched on the day equals time decay. And another reason I really, really, really love credit spreads is what? We make money 3 ways on this trade. You see this? Here's the risk graph. The blue line is Amazon right now. So we make money if Amazon does what? It goes up. Duh. We make money, like I just told you, if Amazon just sits here and wobbles around. Folks, we also make money if what? It goes down. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wiz, I thought it's a bull put spread. Yeah. As long as it stays above what? Right here, which is our break even. Does anybody recognize where the break even is? Right around that $1,800 magnet. Isn't it, Peter? My wife has also suffered some time decay. All right. So this spreads break even is right around that. So even if Amazon sold off on earnings, I think it'll hold 1,800 and then it heads higher to 1,900. So this is a really, really good looking Amazon trade. I don't have time to talk through the adjust and eject stuff because I want to give potential new members the link for the 2-week test flight here. So, all right. So if you're a existing member, you guys are cleared off. Remember, I'm heading down Amazon. I'm heading down to the Keys tomorrow with the fam. One more trip before my oldest son, Matthew, goes to college. Sunrise, sunset, man. Breaking my heart. So we won't do our analyze your trade session tomorrow. I'll still do my daily sit rep and stuff like that. So if you're a current member, you guys are cleared off, and I will talk to you Monday in weekly options. If you want to be a member, or at least take a 2-week test flight, Amazon 725 metrics. Give me about 3 minutes to tell you how you can become a member here. Okay, let me look at any current member questions. Do it Friday if possible. Harry, I'm going to the Keys, man. I'm not doing any trading on Friday. Paul, I'll take a pic with me and a big blue dolphin. Larry, have a great week. Tell you got it. Tell the newbies that I said you have your collective shit together and join up. Thank you, my friend. Okay, guys, if you'd like to check out what we do here at Top Gun Options, all you have to do is this is pretty damn easy. Just go to the homepage, topgunoptions.com, and if you're a skier. Hey, before new members leave, get out of your ExxonMobil. I covered that at the beginning of this webinar. That trades up, 60, 70%. ExxonMobil earnings are tomorrow. Take the money and run. We're making some nice money in ExxonMobil and that Iron Condor. So get out of that, okay? Thanks, Graham, and thanks, John. I appreciate it. Okay, so guys, if you're looking to take a test flight, just go to our homepage, topgunoptions.com, and scroll down. If you're a skier, or even if you're not a skier, you can understand this. We have 3 trials you could do, or test flights. I think this one's $14. This is $28. And I think this is $38 for 2 weeks. So I would do this one. And advanced doesn't mean, holy shit, I need to know, I need to be a Jedi Master. That's not what it means. Advanced means you get access to our weekly options service. That's every Monday at 1 o'clock. I kind of brief what's going on for the week, but we also put on a weekly options trade. And you ready for this? Since men lie and numbers don't, what did we do on Monday? It seems like a year ago Monday, but what did we do on Monday, guys? We put on a bear call spread on Tesla. Dan, do you like money? Join. Thank you, Dan. We put on a bear call spread on Tesla Monday afternoon, and what did we do? We were risking $5,300 to potentially make $2,200. We got out of it yesterday afternoon for a $1,500 profit. Can I get a hell yeah if you would have liked to have made $1,500 in a day on that $5,000 in risk? What happened the week before? We did a bear call spread on the S&P 500. This hit a max profit of $1,500. The week before that, an Amazon bull put spread that hit a max profit of, let's take a look at what it was. This one expired on that 2 Fridays ago. Look at this. We risked $5,400. This trade made $2,100 that week. Our weekly option service, folks, this is the best I've done in 26 years. We are at a 92% win rate on our weekly options trades. I've had members that have gotten their lifetime membership for $15,000 just based on their Amazon trades in the past couple weeks. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you that that's why I would do the $38 test flight for 2 weeks. Let me give you that link. Even if you think weekly options are sporty or they're a little too whatever, it's still a good live trade brief to be in because it's Monday at 1 o'clock, and I kind of kick, hey, what's going on for the week here. So let me give you the link. So this is for it. Folks, I'm going to go out to the coconuts here on here for cocktails. That's a bad bottle of Pinot Grigio. 14 days for oh, it's $28. Oh, there you go. I was wrong. $28. Thought it was $38. There you go. That's even cheaper. So there's the link. If you're interested in just this accelerated retirement, then do this one. This is a $14 trial, and that's access to this every Wednesday brief. Okay. This is $14, and you get access to accelerated retirement. Some people just do this. Hey, Wiz, I'm a beginner. I'd like to take a look at longer term trades and be a little bit more conservative. I want to see those Jan 20s on CSX and all that stuff. Let me view chat. Let me throw this in the chat box here. So that's the $14 trial. And then the primary live trade brief that we do every Tuesday is this middle one, is this middle trial. So it just depends on what you want to do. Like I said, what you know, advanced, you trade weekly options. Intermediate is it's kind of the front months, and beginner is accelerated retirement. Okay, so and here's the link for the intermediate trial. Okay, so let me throw that one in here, and then we'll be good to go. Thanks, Harry. Yeah, I appreciate it. It'll be a good family getaway before Matthew goes to college, man. He's heading up to Norwich University. He's going to be in the Corps Cadets at Norwich University and wants to fly for the Marine Corps. So apparently I dropped him on his head when he was a kid. So, all right, I'm sorry I went long. This is supposed to be an hour-long session, but I took up about 15, 20 minutes with introducing me and Top Gun Options. Let me look at some questions here. Exactly, Dan. It will be a nice trip before the tears flow. Karen, have a 2-week out-of-town obligation beginning this weekend, followed by jury duty. Oh, man. Really want to do week trial. Not until. Karen, you know what you need to do is, so these are always active on our homepage. So, Karen, when you get jury duty, oh, my God, I'd rather get my teeth drilled. These are available. These trials are open all the time, so you can take these. What's not open all the time is next Monday night, starting at 7 o'clock. I'm doing a full week of live trading and training for free. So essentially, this is essentially a trial, guys, that you should do. To be honest with you, so. All right, Doug, good. Welcome aboard, man. Doug's going to start his trial, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday. So anybody, regardless of, even if you're sitting here like, this is pretty cool, but I'm not ready right now, do me a favor and sign up for this. So next Monday night, starting at 7 o'clock, I'm going to open up the doors for a full week to our squadron. So you lucked out here. You can either take your 2-week trial and get all member access, or still kind of check out what we do next week. So it's called Full Throttle Week, and it's it comes with numbing. Exactly. So next week I'm opening up for the entire week, a full week of live trading and training. So either take the 2-week test flight and get deep access to all the member stuff that we have, or you can always just sign up for next week's full throttle training as well. Okay. So, all right, guys, listen, I got a cruise. Didn't mean to blow off some of the questions, but again, if you become a member or take a two-week trial, we don't leave any of these live trade briefs with any hanging chads or any question marks over anybody's head. Okay, but I gotta trade into the close here, and then I am gonna go head down to Coconuts and get some happy hour on. Okay. So thanks, Rick. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless, and welcome aboard to all the new folks that are going to join us in a 2-week test flight. And I'll talk to you guys Monday afternoon in weekly options, where we're going to keep our streak alive, man. 92% win rate in weekly options. We're up like 20 grand this month in just weekly options trades. I mean, there's your lifetime membership right there. Okay. All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. And I'll see you Monday afternoon at 1 o'clock. We'll see you.